Now on CoastTV News.
Seal on the move.
We probably look twice and wonder, what is that?
One seal dodges traffic and a major highway. A protest planned in Milford tonight, but no one attended. What planned bike path has neighbors concerned? An arrest made arson attempt of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house.
It's very scary when violence, especially of a political nature, occurs.
Shocking details of what the suspect was planning to do.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Milford neighbors push back on a pair of projects that could be coming to the city. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson, in tonight for Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight in Milford. A protest was planned for tonight at 6 p.m. outside of Milford City Hall, but that protest did not end up happening. CoastTV News reporter Brendan Conroy is live in Milford at the City Hall. Brendan, some people are still unhappy about project plans in Milford.
Brandon, I'm here at City Hall, like you said, where the protest was supposed to happen. That was according to the Nextdoor app, and it was planned for 6 p.m. When 6 p.m. came along, though, nobody was outside. They were inside, but nobody protesting out here. We got to speak with people inside the meeting who confirmed that they were going to protest about that, but didn't end up happening. And we spoke with other people because this isn't just the only project that people are upset about. Sue Smith is one of the people who lives on the road where the Milford Slaughter Beach bike path would go. She tells CoastTV she has lived in her house with her husband for nearly 50 years and does not want anything to change.
There's just a lot of issues, but the biggest thing is that I don't think there's a handful of people, even if that, on that road that are interested in having their front yard taken from them. And says even when completed, she doesn't think it will be used as frequently as others might expect. They want to take land for maybe 8 to 10 bikers that may or may not ride from Milford to Slaughter Beach and take all of our property. Ann Waddington spoke during the public comment period about the path and tells us she's not a fan of the park either. You can see the site for that on your screen now. But she does offer a solution.
Why don't they just they're talking about having a walking path in the park. Why don't they put their bike path there personally? Make it a win-win for everybody.
Stephen Jordan lives in Milford and says he likes to stay active daily and says he has no issue with more of these nature-focused areas.
I do a lot of walking. I love outdoors. This is what living in Delaware is all about to me. If you weren't here for the adventure, then why did you come in to start with? You know what I mean? Because this is what Delaware is all about.
There's another survey open for the Milford Slaughter Beach bike path that can be found on DelDOT's Interact website and will close next Monday. When we spoke with the mayor, he said that he had thought it was for the Deep Creek Park. That's what the protest was for, according to him, but the protest didn't end up happening either way. And when they spoke about the park plans, they decided to table that discussion till a later date until more financials and the language was figured out. Reporting live in Milford, Brendan Conroy, CoastTV News.
Thank you, Brendan. Also in Milford tonight, an active police investigation just wrapped up 30 minutes ago. On your screen now is the 1000th block of South Walnut Street. That's where Milford police say there was an increased police presence in the area earlier tonight. Authorities say the area is clear now and there is no threat to anyone. Starting tomorrow in Lewis, behind the Redners on Route 9, Nassau Commons Boulevard will be closed. On your screen now is that location where the entrance right off of Route 9 will close. DelDOT says construction will consist of water main work, storm drain installations, and full roadway reconstruction. This work will continue for the next 2 months. DelDOT says the end goal for this work is for a traffic light to be at the intersection of Route 9 and Nassau Commons Boulevard. Out with the new, in with the old. On Monday, NASA's Wallops Flight Facility held a groundbreaking ceremony to celebrate the construction of a new bridge. Unlike the current 65-year-old bridge, the new one will be made entirely flat with no curve, which will speed up the time it takes to go over the 1,600-foot bridge from 12 seconds down to only 8. In addition, this new bridge will also be able to bring heavier loads to Wallops Island. The NASA Wallops Flight Facility Director says it's needed for the consistent rocket takeoffs they plan to do in the future.
We're going from launching a few rockets a year orbitally into space to launching 25 to 27 rockets over the next couple years. We need a new bridge to help enable that.
Construction for this new bridge started today, and it's expected to finish February 2028. Work on public beach access in Assateague Island is scheduled to begin tomorrow. Crews are set to move roads and parking areas 2.5 miles north. They say the beach area will remain open during the work, and we're told the relocation is needed as the island migrates closer to the mainland due to environmental factors and storms. The nearly $18 million project is expected to be completed next April on Assateague Island. You've probably driven down Route 1. Maybe you've seen a rodent cross the road or even a turtle. What about a marine animal? Well, one seal pup made that trip this week. As Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, she was in the Coast Copter laying out this unusual scene.
We are flying above the Indian River Inlet where that little seal pup crossed the road. You can see here from our Coast Copter just how many lanes of traffic she had to go through. It wasn't over the river and through the woods, but Andromeda, that's the 2.5-month-old seal's name, did make it across 4 lanes of highway and into some vegetation. According to Mare, that's where they found her and ultimately rescued her. Matthew and Tina Henderson can't believe it.
We probably looked twice and wondered, what is that?
But they're glad she's okay.
Well, hopefully no more come across the road or get squashed.
Right.
That would be a tragedy.
That would.
And it wasn't just that seal near the Indian River Bridge. Mare also rescued a young gray seal named Scutum from Gordon's Pond in North Shores last week. Lex Denisenko says he has some questions about the recent rescues.
Well, it sounds like we need to have a couple more regulations about, our how we experience wildlife around this area.
For now, the question remains unanswered. Why did this seal cross the road? Back in the Coast Copter now, Mare says the seal pup is still recovering from her unique journey. From the Coast Copter above the Indian River Inlet, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
And new today, according to Mare, they've been monitoring an adult gray seal in Dewey Beach, seen on your screen now. They say this older male seal has been in and out of the water swimming, and they named him Leo. And if you feel like you're seeing more seal rescues, well, you're right. The Nationals Aquarium Stranding Response Team says this is one of the busiest years to date. And we now take a live look outside into Ocean City and bring in our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams to join us to look at the weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, and we're keeping a close eye on some late night storms trying to just slowly migrate its way towards us. But it's actually dragging its feet a little bit, so it might be a little more delayed, but that's okay. The more delayed it is, the less likely it is to turn severe or become dangerous, but it's still coming. All right, so our Ocean City camera, courtesy of Hershey's Exterior, we're holding at 53 degrees, dew point of 50. Now, we're going to stay in the 50s. Now, we're looking for those thunderstorms to now start kicking in probably about 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning time. So, legitimately, we're going to be watching out for Tuesday rain, technically speaking. 73 was the high, actually, in Georgetown today. We got up to 61 for the high, actually, in Ocean City. We have active concerns for gusty winds right now at about 25 miles per hour with this small craft advisory for Lewis, Dewey Beach, as well as Rehoboth Beach, as well as Ocean View. Watching out for 25 mile per hour blustery conditions. And we're starting to see with this gale wind warning over towards Tiemann and Thomas and Castle Haven, we're starting to see the beginnings of the rain starting to make its way over towards us ever so slightly. Let me wind the scope so you can see what's going on. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning down here in Richmond, but that storm is moving way to our south, just to the south of Endicott, actually. So it's not an immediate threat, and all this in here is looking like it's dying a quick death before it even crosses the Chesapeake Bay area. Now, coming up, we're going to be talking about just how concerned we're going to be about the winds for Tuesday and especially on Wednesday, Brandon.
Thank you, Paul. New tonight, Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings is under fire for taking luxury trips. All this related to a group called Attorney General Alliance, a nonprofit that, according to critics, is funded by major corporations. The group hosts conferences including a safari in South Africa and a 5-star resort in Colorado. Documents obtained by a government watchdog group show Jennings attended many events and even flew first class to Africa. Jennings' team emphasizes no taxpayer money was used for this. A statement from the Department of Justice referred to this as legitimate business travel that is important for networking, saying, quote, "It would be a mistake not to be in the same place as her colleagues once so much of her job requires us to play an outsized role as a small state," end quote. And the insurance company Liberty Mutual has paid a $300,000 penalty to the state of Delaware after an investigation uncovered nearly 40,000 instances of misleading advertising. The Department of Insurance says the violations included listing discounts on homeowners and auto policies that were not actually available to Delaware consumers. 3 Liberty Mutual companies were cited with an additional $200,000 penalty pending if the issues are not corrected. The man accused of breaking and setting fire to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence has been denied bail. In an arraignment late tonight, 38-year-old Cody Balmer did not enter a plea to a raft of charges, including attempted murder, aggravated arson, and terrorism. According to a police affidavit, Balmer said he harbored hatred for Shapiro and that he would have beaten the governor with a hammer if he had encountered him.
The governor's mansion burned while the governor, his wife Lori, their 4 children, 2 dogs, and another family slept early Sunday. The aftermath showed destroyed furniture, ash-covered floors, and blackened surfaces throughout. The governor and others inside the residence evacuated and no injuries were reported. According to a police affidavit, 38-year-old Cody Balmer turned himself in and said he harbored hatred for Shapiro.
If this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured I will find a way to work even harder.
Investigators say Balmer jumped a fence around the governor's residence and forcibly entering the home before setting the fire. Police said he was inside less than a minute, evading troopers who were searching for him. The attack happened on the first night of Passover, an important event in the Jewish calendar. Authorities have not said that Shapiro was targeted because he is Jewish, but the attack left politicians on edge.
It's very scary when violence, especially of a political nature, occurs. I mean, the outcome, the impact is far greater than that one person who was a target.
Police say Balmer confessed to starting the fire using gasoline from a lawnmower that he poured into beer bottles to make Molotov cocktails.
The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody. It's probably just a whack job. And certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
This type of violence is not okay.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Investigators believe mental health issues are a factor in this case. We're just getting started here on Coast TV News at 11. Delaware State University hosted its inaugural agricultural student pitch competition today, and a Shark Tank star was in attendance. Also, pet food donations needed at a Georgetown Cheer Center.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. We're watching off some early morning rain for Tuesday. It's going to become a little bit breezy for Tuesday. Then it's going to become all out windy like crazy on Wednesday in Crisfield. We'll talk about this in your full forecast coming up in just 60 seconds. We have some scattered showers beginning to make its way towards us, just crossing the Chesapeake Bay area. But fortunately, because of the delay arrival of those showers, it's going to allow us to just kind of deal with some heavy showers and not have to be concerned about them turning into, let's say, a possible severe thunderstorm, which is always good news. And we can always use the rain on top of that. Our tidal health camera in Salisbury, 61 degrees right now. All is quiet on the home front at this point. But we are expecting the rain to slowly begin to trickle in with temperatures staying in the low 60s. Now, that's a very mild night when you think about it. The winds will be a primary concern for the next couple of days in a row. Today wasn't so bad. I mean, we're talking about a 16-mile-per-hour wind. That's what was recorded in Georgetown, a 17-mile-per-hour wind gust in Cambridge. And that was the max that we experienced today. That's pretty typical pedestrian stuff. But we do have a small craft advisory in effect for Slaughter Beach, Broadkill Beach, Lewis Beach, with 25-mile-per-hour winds likely for us. And we're looking for that same concern at about 25 miles per hour, Ocean City, West Ocean City, down to Golf Club Shores, and then over towards, let's say, the Cambridge area. We're looking for scattered showers as well as somewhat gusty winds. But here's a look at that first wave of rain that's making its way across the Chesapeake Bay area, now nuzzling its way into Easton, moving to the east really slow at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's relatively slow. we see on the most southern portions of this line of showers that we see a severe thunderstorm. That's where the orange box is indicating near Richmond. But that is actually curving well to our south and is not even in a direct path for us at this point. We're in the 50s along the beaches, but we're in the 60s as you go farther inland. Winds right now primarily pushing out of the south, so we're going to have a little more in the way of moisture and warmth that will begin to kick in for us. Our initial runs of the models indicated some reds and some oranges, okay, at 12:30. Now it's been backed off to the greens, the simple way of seeing it from a legend standpoint. And then we still have some pockets of isolated thunderstorms possible, but they're really weak, and then they move out of the way really fast, actually. So I don't foresee them becoming problematic. Starting with tomorrow, rain in the early morning hours, possibly between 8 and 10 o'clock, and then it backs off. And this rain we're talking sprinkles to heavy drizzle, nothing that's going to be all that awesome. 68 for the high in Georgetown and Lewis. We're looking for 68 for the high in Cambridge, becoming breezy with the winds out of the west at 25 miles per hour or beyond that. 66 for the high actually in Ocean City. And then the winds. I mean, this is 3 o'clock for us in the afternoon for Tuesday. We're looking at 36 mile per hour wind gusts. That's one concern. And then by Tuesday evening, it moves out of the northwest. But then by Wednesday, we're going up to 38, closing in on 40 mile per hour winds. So we have 2 days in a row where the winds are going to, as my grandma would say, act a fool for a couple of days, okay? So take a look at our 3-day beach forecast. We're looking at scattered showers early for Tuesday, windy on Wednesday, clearing out on Thursday. Same situation in Fenwick Island. Rain on Tuesday, 66 and soggy, 60 and sunshine on Thursday. And then Lewis, scattered showers on Tuesday. Rehoboth, same situation, 64 for the high. Very breezy with temperatures in the 50s, but feeling more like the lower 40s because it's going to be just that breezy, okay? Then sunshine will regale us on Thursday with highs near the 60-degree mark. Finally, here's a look at your extended forecast. And for tax day, 65 degrees and rain early, once again, as a reminder. Wednesday, very windy, 58 for the high, but feeling more like 40. And then on Friday, good looking weather, 69. Then we go up by 10 more degrees on Saturday.
Thank you, Paul, and hopefully those winds stay acting right. Georgetown's Cheers Center is reaching out to the public for pet food and cat litter donations. Amy Smith, nutrition director for Cheer, says their Meals on Wheels programs delivers food to seniors and their pets. She says seniors often have to decide whether or not they will pay for medication or for their pet's food. Smith told CoastTV providing these resources allows them to make that tough choice of purchasing what's necessary for them or their pet.
We want to take care of our seniors and their pets because as all of us treat our pets like family, so it's the same thing. When we're feeding the seniors, we're going to feed their pets.
Smith says you can donate bags of pet food directly to the Cheer Center in Georgetown. New tonight, Delaware State University hosted its inaugural agriculture student pitch competition today. 11 teams from across the country presented creative solutions to address challenges in the agricultural industry.
It was very important from the beginning that we expose our middle school and high schoolers just to what this actually looks like. So by the time that they get to Delaware State University or any university, they've already been prepped and ready.
Shark Tank's Damon John was in Dover today, and the winning teams will have the opportunity to continue developing their inventions with the goal of turning their ideas into market-ready products. Americans worry about jobs growth. We have that what a new survey shows us next. But first, President Trump wants to action from the FCC taken against 60 Minutes. We have that full story after the break.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
President Donald Trump appears to be angered by recent 60-minute reports on Greenland and Ukraine. He's now urging the FCC to punish CBS for airing reports he doesn't like. In a Truth Social post, the president said the network should lose its license. He also expressed his hope that newly appointed FCC chair Brendan Carr will impose maximum fines and punishment for what he called unlawful and illegal behavior. However, there's no evidence of illegal behavior by the network. Many Americans are worried about the U.S. job market, according to a survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. 44% say they believe the national unemployment rate will rise next year. That's the highest response to that question since April 2020, which is shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic emerged. Nearly 16% of those polled also said they have concerns about their own jobs. Coming up, a division battle in girls soccer. We see who comes out on top in the first state in the Henlopen North battle. Also coming up, could your screen time be helping your brain? What a new study suggests about tech and dementia.
Here's a look at your golf forecast. Listen, it's not so good. I mean, we're looking at early morning showers, and we will have a high of about 65 degrees, but it'll feel like 45 because it's going to be so windy, up to 25-mile-per-hour gust.
A new study found technology use may be associated with a lower risk for dementia. The analysis of 57 studies of more than 400,000 older adults found technology use was associated with 42% lower risk of cognitive impairment. The study may support a different theory that exposure to a complex mental activities leads to better cognitive well-being in older age. But one of the study's authors say their findings are not a blanket of endorsement for mindless scrolling. Continuing in health news, scrolling through social media has become the norm for many children and teens. And while these apps can allow them to stay connected to friends, they can also cause harm if used too frequently. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how to know if your child is ready for social media and what parents can do to keep them safe.
Social media has become a significant part of life for many. 77% of high schoolers reported frequent daily social media use in a 2023 national survey by the CDC. But experts say using these apps too much can be harmful to children and teens.
It can affect their mental health, but it can also affect their safety.
Tracy Hurley is with the Child Protection Team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She says most experts recommend waiting until a child is in 8th grade before allowing social media. But since everyone develops differently, she says to answer the following questions.
Are they mature enough? Are they responsible with their belongings? Can they take care of the other belongings that they have in the home? And can they follow the other types of rules that you already have set in place at home or at school?
Hurley says if the answer is no to any of these, you may want to wait. She says it's also important for the parent to be ready for a child to have social media. Once your child has these apps, she says parents play a big role in safety. Monitor your child's interactions online. There are apps that can help you do that. Keep communication open about their online experiences, set clear rules and limits for social media use, and finally, be prepared for difficult conversations around things they've seen or done online.
There's wonderful resources out there that can have questions that you might not think of to ask kids specifically about their internet usage and what they do online.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says it's also important for parents to educate themselves about new devices and websites their child is using. That can make it easier for them to understand what they're truly doing online.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening, sports fans. We've got a Henlopen North battle on the soccer pitch. It's the Ravens and the Senators. Sussex Tech taking on Dover in girls soccer. This happening at Sand Hill Fields. The Ravens would start things off on the offensive side of things. Kyla Laz finds the back of the net. 1-0 Sussex Tech. Molly Murphy trying to do much of the same. Attempts a shot on goal, but just missing the net. The Ravens are still leading 1-0 in the first half. Then Diana Gonzalez-Chile of Sussex Tech doing her thing, has the shot on goal, but Dover's Michelle Cortez saves it. The Ravens still have a 1-0 lead in the first half. Murphy doing her thing, able to get it to go. This time, Sussex Tech would come out on top 4-0. To the WNBA, to no surprise, Paige Beckers is the first overall pick in the draft. UConn national champion will head to the Dallas Wings. They needed a point guard, and she happened to be the best player in her draft class. Beckers will make her regular season debut in Dallas on May 16th at 7:30 p.m. She finished her career at UConn as the leader in career scoring average at 19.8 points per game. And next week will be the premiere of Into the Trenches, a new voyage featuring the Cape Henlopen High School football team. You can tune in next Thursday, April 24th at 7:30 p.m. That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
The 2025 Delaware Press Association Communications Contest Awards just came out, and we are pleased and grateful to say Coast TV has placed in 6 different categories. First place for Best Newscast, first and second for On the Scene Report, second and honorable mention in Prepared Report category, and first place in Online Publication, second in Special Programming, and first place for Social Media Presence, and an honorable mention for Electronic Newsletter.
And we actually don't get tired of winning. All right, we're going to win some more. All right, so our Spicer Brothers camera, 61 degrees actually in Salisbury. We'll drop down to 60. We'll have the scattered showers begin to kick in for us throughout the late night hours. Small craft advisory is in effect along the coastal region. Watching out for 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Robin Corbin of Salisbury, congratulations. You're our umbrella winner, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration, Home Remodeling. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mendalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. 65 for tomorrow, but so windy it's not going to feel like 65.
Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, is up next. We'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.